There are two types of failure. Well, there are more than two types of failure, but let's talk about two types of failure. There's the failure that comes from trying something new, from trying to discover new knowledge, from trying to do something new, from trying to achieve something that you have not achieved before, in some cases that nobody has achieved before. And for the most part, unless the failure is catastrophic, that failure should be embraced. That's a good kind of failure. Because that's a failure from which you learn. Look, there's no way to learn something new, particularly if nobody's done it before, particularly if you've never done it before, without failing, without getting it wrong. You've got to learn from your failures. You've got to work through your failures. You've got to not just try blindly again and again and again and again, but every iteration has to be something you've learned from. You have to take failures as a challenge, as an obstacle to be overcome. Failure is inevitable. Not something you often hear from objectivists. But failure in a sense of not succeeding, trying something and not succeeding at it. If you're an entrepreneur, you know this. It's inevitable. Even an incredibly successful entrepreneur like Jeff Bezos within Amazon has failed many, many, many times. Just think the Amazon phone. I'm sure you're all using one of those. And one of the reasons Amazon has been as successful as it has been is because they embrace failure. They don't take failure as decimating their self-esteem. They don't take failure as inherently destructive. They don't take failure as, I'm no good, I'm never going to try anything again. They take failure as, that didn't work. I wonder why. And maybe I wonder why comes up with, I shouldn't have tried that. I'll try something different. I'll do something different. That's not a good area for me to be engaged. Or maybe it's, whoa, if I just tinker this, I think it'll be successful. There's a million different ways. I mean, there's a great quote from Michael Jordan, right? He missed so many thousand shots. He was given the ball. This is basketball for those of you who don't know. He was given the ball to shoot the deciding shot in a game. And 26 times he failed. The team lost because he missed the shot. So, I mean, Michael Jordan failed. Think of a baseball player who goes to bat. The best baseball player in the world is, what do they bat? 400? They miss 6 out of 10 tries. What is the best venture capitalist? So, not hitting the ball, not getting a home run, not hitting the basket, not succeeding in your first venture, not succeeding in your first relationship, not succeeding at your first job, not succeeding is just, okay, what happened? Move on. That's what it means to be rational and to use reality as your guide. What went wrong? How can I do better? And reality is that I'm not going to hit 1,000. Nobody hits 1,000. It's impossible to hit 1,000. How do I do the best that I can do? How can I live the best life that I can live? In this world, the imperfect world. And yeah, there's a certain element of tragedy in the world we live in because we know what's possible. We know we will never attain the possible. We will know we never will live in that ideal. But you can't live in some utopian future. You have to live in the here and now. You have to make the most of what you have right now. Even Francisco d'Anconia, Shahspad, does not hit 1,000. If he hit 1,000, he would get Dagny at the end. And he doesn't. I won't give more of that away for those of you who have not read Atlas Shrugged. Perfection is achievable if you define, but you have to define perfection right. Perfection doesn't mean hitting 1,000. So focus is always on reality, on what is possible and what is achievable. Focus is always on what can I learn? How can I integrate my new knowledge into my existing knowledge? How to make sure that I have no contradictions in my own mind, in my own thinking, in my understanding of reality, in the understanding of myself and of the world. How do I stay focused on the truth, on facts? And how do I stay objective? How do I have a proper understanding of the concepts and the terms that I am using and I'm living by? And how do I use all that knowledge to take control over my own life, live the best life that I can live, surround myself with beautiful, amazing things and people, and live a glorious life? And to some extent, if the world goes to hell, the world goes to hell. But I'm going to go out smiling because I made the most of my life. But I was going to talk about the second form of failure. The second form of failure is maybe the more prevalent form of failure. It's the failure to be avoided. And that is the failure of never trying, of never stepping up to the bat, of never taking a shot, never starting a business, never going and talking to the girl. The real failure is sitting at home and moping about the state of the world. The real failure is not engaging, not focusing, not trying, not learning, not growing. How many of us just sit at home watching the news, or maybe even watching the Your Own Book Show, but never actually go out and live? Never actually do the work necessary to live. That's the real tragedy, right? I mean, what was that saying? It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. It's better to have lived and failed than never to have lived at all, or never to have lived with a capital L, never to have tried, never to have engaged, never to have pursued. So, figure out what's in your control. Go out there, live, pursue, engage, take risks, fail, get back up on your feet, and live. Push yourself, challenge yourself. Enjoy what you have. Focus on the good things. You all have good things in your life. And all of you, I can guarantee it, can make things even better in your life. With the right kind of effort, with the right kind of focus. I mean, it stuns me, the number of people the number of objectivists who are miserable because all they do is focus on politics. They live in fear of the immigrants are coming, the Muslims are coming, the communists are coming, the Democrats are coming. And their life is filled so much with fear that they never take the opportunity to actually live, to actually create a beautiful environment around them, to actually go out and be productive, make lots of money. I mean, there's a million things you could be doing with your life, a million things. I mean, my problem has always been, how do I delimit myself? Because there's so many things I want to do. I want to go be a tech entrepreneur. Not, I mean, no, I don't relative to everything else, but wouldn't that be fun? So, to answer the kind of the motivation for this was somebody who's, what's the point of it? You know, losing the meaning of it. So first, you don't have to engage in every political discussion, every cultural discussion that's out there, and it's not a failure if you choose not to engage. You don't have to waste your time on people who will never change their mind. Orient your life, orient your focus, orient your time, orient your energy around the values you can achieve. And the important values, again, of love, friendship, and career. If you get those right, then you can tolerate a lot of BS going on in the world.
And to begin with, I wonder if I can ask you to capsulize, I know this is difficult, can I ask you to capsulize your philosophy? What is Randism?
First of all, I do not call it Randism, and I don't like that name. I call it objectivism.
All right.
Meaning a philosophy based on objective reality. Now let me explain it as briefly as I can. First, my philosophy is based on the concept that reality exists as an objective absolute, that man's mind, reason, is his means of perceiving it, and that man needs a rational morality. I am primarily the creator of a new code of morality which has so far been believed impossible, namely a morality not based on faith.
On faith?
Not on faith, not on arbitrary whim, not on emotion, not on arbitrary edict, mystical or social, but on reason, a morality which can be proved by means of logic, which can be demonstrated to be true and necessary.
All right, all right.
Now, may I define what my morality is?
All right.
Because this is merely an introduction. My morality is based on man's life as a standard of value. And since man's mind is his basic means of survival, I hold that if man wants to live on Earth and to live as a human being, he has to hold reason as an absolute, by which I mean that he has to hold reason as his only guide to action, and that he must live by the independent judgment of his own mind, that his highest moral purpose is the achievement of his own happiness, and that he must not force other people, nor accept their right to force him, that each man must live as an end in himself and follow his own rational self-interest.
May I?
All right, before we go on, reminder, please like the show. We've got 163 live listeners right now, 30 likes. That should be at least 100. I figure at least 100 of you actually like the show. Maybe there are like 60 of the Matthews out there who hate it. But at least the people who are liking it, you know, I want to see a thumbs up. There you go. Start liking it. I want to see that go to 100. All it takes is a click of a thing, whether you're looking at this. And you know, the likes matter. It's not an issue of my ego. It's an issue of the algorithm. The more you like something, the more the algorithm likes it. So, you know, and if you don't like the show, give it a thumbs down. Let's see your actual views being reflected in the likes. But if you like it, don't just sit there. Help get the show promoted. Of course, you should also share. And you can support the show at JeronBrooksShow.com/support, or on Patreon or Subscribestar or Locals, and show your support for the work, for the value hopefully you're receiving from this. And of course, don't forget, if you're not a subscriber, even if you just come here to troll, or even if you're here like Matthew to defend Marx, then you should subscribe, because that way you'll know when to show up. You'll know what shows are on, when they're on. You'll get notified, right? So, yes, like, share, subscribe, support. Like, share, subscribe, support. There you go. Easy. Do one or all of those please.